Welcome to episode 2 of my Permadeath no starter ship playthrough. Last time we left off having just located this Korvax trading post after searching the planet for about an hour and 20 minutes or so. Now technically the challenge hasn't been completed until I can find or afford to buy my first ship, so I need to speak to a merchant and see what I can sell. It doesn't look like I have collected too much of value so far without a terrain manipulator and without an advanced mining laser. Some of the more valuable things that you can unearth and gather are not available. So here it looks like I'll have a little over 70,000 units once I've sold off what I want to get rid of. And I know I'm going to need 500,000 or 600,000 more units to buy one of the low-end starter ships. But before I head off to do some more resource gathering, let's just see if there's anything else here that is useful. This vendor, sells components, but also sells a few blueprints for crafting, including the advanced mining laser and the waveform recycler. Blueprints for the advanced mining laser cost 75 nanites, but in order to craft the advanced mining laser, I'm going to need 2 wiring looms and 1 hermetic seal. The hermetic seal looks like it's fairly cheap, only 936 units for one, but the wiring loom is listed as 73,000 units for each one. And I need 2 of those, which is way more money than I have at the moment. If I could afford it, I would buy them both because the advanced mining laser will pay for itself in short order. Like there's some valuable things you can find that require it, like the floating crystal formations that can contain, extremely valuable gemstones and other elements. In my last episode, one of those floating crystal nodes was spotted on my scanner, but I ignored it because I didn't have the advanced laser yet. But you can easily make 500,000 units just from one of those crystal nodes. The waveform recycler costs 120 nanites, and that upgrades your scanner on your multi-tool, reducing the recharge time to be able to use it more often, and increasing the scan radius by 11%. So that's fairly easy to craft once you have the blueprint. Now I already have the blueprint for a low-end C-class oxygen recycler to slightly improve my life support system, and that'll increase life support tanks by 10%, which is not too bad. So it won't hurt to craft this minor upgrade. Every piece of new tech takes up storage space in your exosuit, but you can always replace it down the road with the better version if you find something better. Now, in addition to that first vendor, there's also a galactic trade terminal, and you can often find different components and consumables available there, so it's nice to have 2 different vendors at one trading post. And you'll see fairly quickly here that buying both ion batteries and life support gel is dirt cheap. 10 life support gels only costs 2,300 units or so. And 20 ion batteries only costs less than 5,000 units. So it's definitely worth buying in bulk here and saving yourself from having to gather the resources necessary to craft them in the first place. From this point on in the game, it'll just be easier to buy in bulk and save all that time and hassle gathering the dihydrogen and the cobalt and so on that you would need to craft them in the first place. So instead of needing the cobalt for my own batteries, I can gather the cobalt just for resale as a means to make some money and buy my first ship. So here, I'll fast forward through this part where I go and speak to some of the local residents to try to learn some Korvax words from them. This local information repository is a place where you can spend a small amount of nanites for map coordinates, in this case to local sites of Korvax cultural significance. So let's buy one and see what the planetary chart reveals. It looks like the map coordinates lead to an ancient ruined site, which is a location where you can often dig up valuable ancient artifacts. But you still need the terrain manipulator tool to be able to do that. And that requires you to unlock first. So archaeological sites will have to wait for the moment. The most important thing I need to do right now is find resources or items I can sell, and that likely means looking for a nearby cave and mining some cobalt. So let's fast forward again while we do some exploration. Although here we found another outpost very close by the larger trading post. This is actually pretty cool because there's these smaller inhabited posts have different vendors and also a multi-tool or weapon counter that can be used to upgrade your multi-tool. But before we head over to the new outpost, here's another tunnel that contains cobalt deposits, which we're going to need to gather in serious bulk if we want to raise 500,000 units. So let's fast forward some of this resource gathering. You'll see as we gather cobalt, we're also occasionally finding little pockets of silver, gold, and platinum as well.
Protection falling.
Okay, so here we are at the new inhabited outpost. And here's the multi-tool counter. You don't generally see these at the larger trading posts, only the smaller ones. But as you can see, when you compare your current multi-tool with the one on offer, good multi-tools can sometimes be more expensive than a starter ship. So this one is clearly out of my reach for the moment. So here I've got a few more things I can sell, platinum, cobalt, and so on. Try to raise some more currency. And you can see I've got these 7 geodes here, which I could sell for about 23,000 units. But you should not do that if your goal is to get as much currency as possible. So we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that point in a little bit and show you that you can get more money out of your geodes than just by selling them straight up like that. So here we can see that this local vendor is also selling wiring looms, but for only 35,000 units each, which is more than half the price they were selling the same items at the larger trading post. So given that I need 2 of these looms in order to craft my advanced mining laser, this seems like a good opportunity to get the parts. The hermetic seal that I also need only costs 931 units, which is more or less the same price as it was at the other location. So now that those ingredients have been bought, it's time to actually craft the advanced mining laser. Now, I had mentioned earlier that if your goal was to acquire currency, that you should not sell those geodes to the vendor. Instead, you can open up your inventory and click on the Analyze option and break down the geodes into usable materials. So let's see what that gets and its total market value compared to our estimated value of the 7 geodes, which was around 23,000 units. First, let me organize my inventory so it'll be easier to spot what kinds of usable materials the geodes break down into. Okay, so the first geode converted into 30 cobalt, worth approximately 6,000 units. Let's keep going and see what we have after all 7 geodes have been analyzed and broken down. And after breaking them down into cobalt and ionized cobalt, We have an estimated value at about 50,000 units instead of the estimated 23,000 for the geodes in their original form. So more or less we've doubled the value by converting them into other resources first. So after selling that bit of cobalt, we're back to just under 200,000 units and still need 400,000 to 500,000 more for our first ship. So it's time to resume resource gathering.
Toxic protection falling.
So picking up subterranean relics on the scanner is another way to find caves, as well as cobalt and other things that you can acquire for resale. The subterranean relics are worth a little bit of coin as well. So these subterranean relics are called Vortex Cubes, and they're worth a fair bit, but they take up a lot of space in your inventory because they only stack up to 5 in your regular inventory slots. But because I'm now carrying just items for resale, and I have vendors nearby who I can sell things to, I'm going to start grabbing all the ones I can spot.
Technology recharge.
So at this point, I have at least 300,000 units worth of cobalt to sell, just on its own, not counting platinum, silver, and other items. Okay, time to sell a bunch of resources. Vortex Cubes, platinum, gold, silver, and almost 2,000 more cobalt for 388,000 units. That'll get me up to 642,000 units. And now, if I convert my new batch of 10 geodes, valued at 32,000, into usable resources, we end up getting about 67,000 units of worth of cobalt and ionized cobalt. So again, more than double what the geodes would have sold for. And so after selling all of that, we have about 710,000 units, which is enough to buy a starter ship. So let's fast forward here again and start running back to the larger trading post where the spaceships are regularly docking. So here you can see if you scan ships with your analysis visor, you can get all kinds of information at a single glance and from a fair distance away, including like the class of ship, whether it's a fighter or a shuttle, its quality grade, whether it's C, B, A, or S quality. And you can also get the storage available for each ship. It's the series of numbers beside the class and letter grade. And of course you can get the price of the ship in units as well. So at a glance you can see most of the information you're going to need to decide if you want to try to buy that ship. So we'll fast forward a bit as new ships fly in, but the important thing to note is that you have to act fast if you want one ship in particular, because the ships do not stay at the trading post for very long. So here's an A-class Explorer worth 1.5 million or so. Also, way beyond my budget. An A-class fighter worth over 13 million units.
Toxic protection falling.
And a B-class fighter worth 1.4 million. And there's a B-class hauler worth about 11 million.
Toxic protection falling.
And there's a C-class Explorer worth 770,000, which is almost in my budget, but not quite. A B-class shuttle worth 1.185 million.
Toxic protection falling.
And there's a C-class shuttle worth 660,000, which is within my budget. So I'm going to go grab it by speaking to its captain. So if you compare the shuttle with the starter fighter ship, it has more general, more tech, and more cargo inventory slots, which makes it a nice, ship for gathering resources on the surface of a planet. Alright then, we have ourselves a starter shuttle for 660,000 units and have officially completed the task we set out to accomplish, which was to acquire a ship without using the starter ship that's available to new captains. So, if you'd like to see further adventures with this no longer marooned captain, let me know. Give me a like or click on the subscribe button and let me know where we should go next. And until next time, stargazers, farewell.